There was one figure that was not as large as these. He was on a slab of stone, and he had a beard, and he had an aquiline nose, and he had a headdress which showed him to be Phoenician. Now, the Phoenician figure is very important because both in the Egyptian world at that time, the Nubians, the black Nubians, were protecting the Phoenicians from the Assyrians. The Phoenicians had also moved. Princess Elisar had traveled with 300 Phoenicians down into North Africa, and they began intermarrying among black Africans in North Africa just on the edge of the Atlantic Ocean from about 1000 BC right down until Carthage was built on the basis of that civilization. Recently, studies in Carthage, archaeological studies in Carthage, show that Carthaginian civilization, which included Hannibal and all those fantastic navies, that they were largely African. Now they've studied the skeletons, they have found it's a largely African civilization. So all of these things were happening around this time. And you get this Carthaginian type figure, this Phoenician type figure whom you find in Carthage of that period, and you find in the Nubian Egyptian world of that period. You see him among these Africoid types. And people, because they're accustomed to the modern world, which is only 500 years old since Columbus, they're accustomed to the black being a slave and thought of as a primitive. When they saw this fair-skinned figure with the aquiline nose beside him, they said he's the master and these are his slaves. If you go to the historical period, you find just the opposite. That Phoenician was a hired navigator because the Phoenicians were involved in the import and export trade of the Egyptians and the Nubians, and they were up and down the Mediterranean.